What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. If you've never been here, please hit the subscribe button. Check out plenty of the videos. Everybody else, welcome back. And for those of you that have never visited, I served 17 years straight in the New York prison system. When I started my prison sentence, it was with 3 years on Rikers Island. And today it's going to be about one of the many fights that I had on Rikers Island. And I'll explain how fast something could pop off, how fast you can go from having a normal day into complete chaos. Out of the 17 years I served, I would say Rikers Island was the most reckless place. It was one of the most dangerous places. And I served time in serious prisons, maximum security prisons, like Attica Prison, like Sing Sing Prison, like Auburn Prison, through Downstate Prison. I was in Wallkill. I was in Mid Orange. I was in Mid State. But Rikers Island was one of the most unstable jails. Rikers Island is a jail, it's not a prison. And it was one of the most unstable places that I was in. There was complete chaos in Rikers Island. There was, at the time I was there was 16,000 inmates in Rikers Island. 16,000. A large prison like Attica holds about 1,600, 1,700, 1,700 prisoners. Rikers Island had 16,000 prisoners. They have their own zip code. They have 10 different jails on Rikers Island. Rikers Island, it's not just one jail, it's one jail, but there's like 10 different buildings: C73, C95, OBCC. There's all different buildings, but it's one jail. And it's, I wouldn't say organized chaos, it's chaos. The reason why it's more unstable than going to prison, when you have men in prison, the guys in prison have already withdrawn off of drugs. They've already, for the most part, they've already accepted their fate. They have settled down. They didn't just come off the street. They're doing their time already. They have personal stuff. They got some personal clothes, some personal food. They have some money in their account. In Rikers Island, they're coming right off the street, and you're getting everything. You're getting mentally ill people. You're getting robbers, rapists, killers, murderers, carjackers, child molesters, everything coming right off the street and dumped in Rikers Island. They're withdrawing off of heroin, off of crack, off of alcohol, off of pills. They don't know how much time they're going to get. The judge hasn't sentenced them yet. They're still going to court. So there's extortion going on. There's fights going on. I don't say this to sound like a tough guy. If you have been in 10 fights, hard fights your whole life, that's a lot of fights. I was in 70, 80 fights, more than that, just on Rikers Island. Sometimes fighting 2 times a day, 3 times a day, especially a little white guy from Long Island. You know what I mean? Because they're ignorant and they look at, oh, how tough is this guy going to be? A little white boy from Long Island, until I was wrecking them. And then word got around. They were like, yo, stay away from that dude over there. But so I was in a lot of fights over there. Let me tell you about one of the many. And it happened, it transpired over something that many people get into fights over, and that was the telephone. Yes, the telephone is something that men fought over a lot. So back in the days in Rikers Island, when I was there, 1996, 1997, 1998, right? You were permitted 3 phone calls every 5 hours. So I'll explain to you how it worked real quick. Every 5 hours, you wake up in the morning, you get a 5 minute free phone call, right? It's for free. They don't withdraw the money out of your inmate account. Then you get a 15-minute phone call where they take the money out of your account. And then you get a 30-minute phone call where they take the money out of your account. And if you use all three of them, 5 hours, then you're done for 5 hours. 5 hours later, you get them again. If you time it right, you could go 3 times a day. You could use the phone 3 times a day. A lot of people don't have anybody to call, right? And so they sell their phone calls because you have to put in a PIN number to use the phone. And they sell their phone calls because there's guys that use the phone all the time. They need more phone calls. So anyway, I move into a building called OBCC, right? I was in C95. I got kicked out of C95. I get to OBCC. The only one I know in OBCC is my man Jimmy and this kid Pop, a Spanish guy Pop, who I have mad love for. And this other Spanish guy comes up to me when I first move in. He's like, "Yo, Poppy, can I buy one of your phone calls off you?" And so I explained to him, "Listen, I don't sell my phone calls because I have people to call on the street. I have my family to call on the street. I have my girlfriend to call, so I use my phone calls." But he starts begging, "Please, Poppy," he says, I'm fighting with my wife. I really need to make the," and he's begging and he's begging. And so I feel bad for this guy. So I says, "All right, I'll give him the phone call." He says, "I'll give you 2 packs of Newports." Usually it's 1 pack of Newport, but he wants it so bad. He's like, "Yo, I'll give you 2 packs of Newports." So I says, "All right, fine," because the cigarettes are money, so I'll take them. So he gives me the 2 packs of Newports, and I go to walk him to the phone, and he's like, "No, I don't need them now. I need them later. I need them later tonight." So I said, "Listen, I'll give them to you right now if you need them. But at nighttime, I use my phone calls to call my girlfriend." "Oh, please, Poppy, please do me the favor, da da da." So now I do this guy a favor again. I humble myself again. I say, "All right, I'll give them to you at night." You know what I mean? Forget him. Who cares, right? The nighttime comes and the phones go off, say like 9 o'clock at night. So it's like 8:30 at night, and I tell him, "Yo, listen, if you want to use the phone right now, let me, use it now because it's getting late." He goes, "Oh no, I don't need them tonight. I'll use them tomorrow." So at this point, I'm like, "Yo, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. I'm not doing that. Take your cigarettes back. You said you wanted to use it. First, I tried to give it to you in the afternoon. Then you said you wanted to use it at night, and this is why you don't get involved with people." Right? Follow. This is the lesson of the story. I said, "Then you want to use them at night. Now you're telling me tomorrow. You're not going to keep dragging me along like that. Take the cigarettes." So he's like, "Yo, who you talking to like that?" I said, "I'm talking to you like that. That's who I'm talking to, right?" He's like, "Yo, you don't know who you talking to. I'm telling you right now." I said, "Yo, listen, F you, do whatever you want to do." A big and Pop gets in between us. My man Pop, he's like, "Yo, Fish, chill out, just relax." So I throw the cigarettes back at him, and he's tight, he's pissed. And so Pop takes me in the corner and he's like, "Yo, listen, Fish, chill out because this could be a big problem." He was like, "That guy is like the heroin kingpin. He supplies a lot of the heroin to the guys in prison. And because of that, he has a lot of juice. He got a lot of prisoners that will do anything for him. You know what I mean? Because he brings in the drugs." I don't care. I really don't care. I'm hard headed and that don't mean nothing to me. I says, "I don't give a shit, Pop." I says, "I don't care. Let him do whatever he wants to do." You know what I mean? I'll stomp that guy out. Now, a few minutes pass, and I go into the bathroom, and I'm in the shower. I go to take a shower, and as I'm in the shower, I'm steaming mad. I'm just, I'm out of control kid too. I'm 26 years old at the time, and I don't know how much time I'm gonna get. I think I'm gonna get 25 to life. In my mind frame, I'm dying in prison. I'm not gonna have somebody disrespecting me like this, making me look like a sucker. So while I'm in the shower, I say to myself, "That's it. I'm beating this guy's ass. I'm coming out of the shower and I'm destroying this guy." And now I'm in the shower. I know this sounds funny. I'm in the shower getting ready. I'm stretching. I'm psyching myself up. I'm going to demolish this guy. Right. And I come out and I dry off. I get dressed. I go to my area. It's a dormitory type setting. I put on my sneakers. I tie my sneakers real tight. And I see the guy in the back of the dorm playing dominoes with all his boys sitting on the bed playing dominoes. So I walk back there. I stay like 10 feet away. I told him, "Come on, let's go." So he's like, "What?" I said, "Let's go. You want to talk to me tough? You want to talk to me reckless?" I said, "Let's go to the back of the dorm. I want to see what you got right now." So I can see he don't want to get up. Now he's all mouth. I'm not with the mouth part. I want to fight. And that's what I tell him. "I don't want to talk. I don't want to say nothing. You were running your mouth." I said, "Come to the back of the dorm. Let's see how tough you are." He says, "If I get up out of this bed," he goes, "you're leaving on a stretcher." That's what he tells me. I said, "Good, good, good. Come, let's go. Let's go to the back of the dorm." So now he's getting up slow. His boys are trying to hold him back. I can tell he really don't want to fight, but he wants to save face too. He don't want to look like a sucker because he got a little white guy calling him out. And so I go to the back of the dorm and I'm waving him on. "Come on, let's go." So as he's coming, he's starting to come. I say to myself, I'm gonna hit this guy with everything I have on the first shot. I'm gonna get him with everything I have on the first shot. And just as he's coming towards me, I go to move and I throw a big punch. Whew, but I miss. He backs up, he moves, but then I follow up with another shot and I catch him hard, square in the jaw. Bang! And he goes right down to my feet. He goes down. When he goes down to my feet, he grabs onto my legs. I pick him up like a pile driver. I pile drive his head into the floor. He's completely disorientated. I step back and I kick him in the face so hard that I knock his teeth out of his mouth. His teeth come right out. He's completely unconscious. Mouth is gushing blood. All his boys are looking at me. I give them a quick look. I'm like, yo, what's up? What's up? They're like, no, no, Poppy, no, Poppy. Everything's all right. So I said, all right, that's a wrap now. So the cop is in the dorm too. He's like, yo, chill out, everyone, chill out. And so that was a wrap with that. But that's what happens when you're in Rikers Island. You know what? I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna see if I get my man Pop on the phone. That was there. Pop was there, and I still talk to Pop. Let's see if we can get him. This is not planned, so I don't know if he's gonna answer. It'd be nice to have Pop's take.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available.
Unbelievable. Pop failed us on that one, but he didn't know I was calling. I was honestly saying it wasn't an arranged call. I was just calling him out of the blue to tell you the story because Pop was there. But on Rikers Island, you have to be very careful who you deal with. You have to be very careful who you even do a little business deal like with that. Selling a phone call for a pack of cigarettes. Rikers Island was completely out of control. Completely out of control. I remember an officer wore his Rolex to work one day. I don't know what this awful officer was thinking, but he wore a Rolex into work. And when the prisoners saw that he had a Rolex on, they beat up the officer, stole his watch, and while they were at it, they stole the wallet out of his back pocket. The prisoner took the watch, put it inside of a Ziploc bag, tied it up, and then stuffed it up his rectum because he knew the cops were going to come search the whole dorm and rip the whole dorm apart looking for the watch. And he had the watch up inside of him. And back in those days, they didn't have the X-ray chairs that they have now. Now they'll put you in an X-ray chair. You know, Rikers Island. I can't tell you how chaotic it was, and it's still open. You get arrested in Brooklyn, Bronx, the Queens, Manhattan, or Staten Island. That's where you go to Rikers Island. There is no control in that place. People were getting slashed every day with scalpels, slashed every day with razors. The officers are bringing in drugs. They're bringing in cell phones. They're bringing in weapons. They're selling knives. They're bringing in everything under the sun. It's such a chaotic mess. There's a lot of talk about closing Rikers Island. A lot of politicians want to close it. And then there's another group of politicians that want to keep it open because they get a lot of funding from the federal government. And a lot of politicians get to stick money in their pocket if Rikers Island stays open. And then there's the group that want to close it. And the reason they want to close it is because if they close Rikers Island, then they have to open up jails in each community like a jail in Brooklyn, a jail in Bronx, a jail in Manhattan, and then the funding goes to those areas. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. But the control in Rikers Island definitely needs to be revamped. Someone needs to take control of that place. It needs to run differently. But I don't know what you can do with it. There's not 16,000 prisoners there anymore. I heard there's like 6 or 8,000 prisoners. The population has gone down dramatically, especially because of the bail reform laws in New York. These days, guys get arrested for serious crimes and they just put them right back out on the street without bail, which is a complete mess. I don't agree with that law at all. You know what I mean? It's created a lot of havoc inside of the city. It's created a lot of destruction and just a lot of turmoil inside of the city, by not giving guys bail and by letting them go to come back to court. So that's a little story about Rikers Island. I got 1,000 stories about Rikers Island. I was there for 3 years, and you're gonna fight if you're there. If you don't fight on Rikers Island, it's different in prison. In prison, you carry yourself like a gentleman. You carry yourself like a proper man. You're respectful. You're courteous to people. You can really skate through the prison system without, possibly having confrontations and stuff like that. But in Rikers Island, it doesn't matter. You will be tested. People will try and extort you. People will try and take what you have. And if you don't stand up for yourself, you'll be sitting there without nothing. They will take everything. The wolves will take everything from you. You're gonna fight there. That's a dangerous place. Dangerous place. All right, guys, I'm wrapping this up. I'll see you later. That's my little tale from Rikers Island. Stay tuned for more. Peace out.